One thing that news outlets have in common is that they want to have that breaking news every day. It could be the stock market surging, the housing market crashing, real estate becoming dirt cheap, social security checks for SSI and SSDI going out, C19 labs found in Fresno, California. Oh wait, not many of them wanted to touch that last one. Now you have to wonder why. Now before I even play this clip, guys, I want you to know that they discovered this back last year. And guess what? They've been keeping it under wraps so amazingly well that it's until real journalists found out.
So what do we know about this lab in Reedley? Well, on March 3rd, the Reedley code enforcement officers investigated the site after seeing an illegally attached garden hose. On March 16th, the warehouse was inspected, and it was discovered that the lab was producing COVID-19. There is blood, tissue, bodily fluid samples, and thousands of vials with fluids that are not labeled. They also found 900 mice. 200 mice that were dead. On March 16th, the representative from the company, Prestige Biotech, potentially a China national, informed investigators, quote, "These mice were genetically engineered to catch and carry the COVID-19 virus," end quote. Prestige Biotech, that company, is licensed in Nevada, not California. One address listed for this company is a vacant building in Las Vegas. Substack reports that other addresses related to this company appear to be in China, though this can't be verified at this time. And they also report that, quote, "Thousands of packages were found as well, many with shipping labels from China," end quote. On May 4th, the CDC inspected the lab and found infectious agents that were both bacterial and viral in nature. Some of these include hepatitis B and C, rubella, malaria, E. coli, and pneumonia. Fresno Superior Court documents indicate that mice were involved in these experiments with COVID-19. The lab apparently illegally disposed of medical waste, and it's believed it went to the landfill.
Wow. I mean, my jaw dropped to the floor when I found this. It's absolutely criminal that this isn't all over social media feeds and our news outlets. I mean, like, they confirmed that the virus, the very same one that destroyed millions upon millions of lives, was being made in this lab. That, and they allegedly disposed of medical waste, some that's probably highly infectious, into the landfill. Like, what the flip, man? Now, I have a hunch, unless of course you guys can help me out, but I'm guessing that this video gets suppressed. Now, I wouldn't be surprised about it since I could feel it in my bones already, but I gotta do this for you folks. You need the truth. And if you want to help in spreading out this message, please drop a like for the video and also make sure you guys are still subscribed to the channel. A lot of people have been saying they've been unsubscribed and they didn't do it. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into it. So like I said, they found this thing last year, but the legal action just started March of this year because the Fresno County Department of Public Health, together with the city of Reedley, just got a court-ordered, court-issued warrant to inspect this place. And I mean, like, if you have all these hazardous chemicals in one area, people need to check up on this stuff. I mean, we don't need another outbreak, right? Now, I personally have had more than enough of it for one lifetime. Anybody out there who wants to try another pandemic? Me personally, I'm good, because this is basically a war on a whole nother level, folks. This is crazy, like literally crazy, because they're building these labs right under our noses, right in our home. And again, like, where's the outrage from the news outlets? They haven't even said anything about this. Now, you also got to think that this is just one of these labs. Like, how many other labs are out there that we don't know about yet? And that doesn't even begin to cover what other countries may have put in our neighborhoods. But let's have a closer look at this lab and let's see what the experts think about it.
It was back in April inside this abandoned warehouse in Reedley that a discovery so shocking was made that it left local health officials stunned.
This is a truly unusual situation. I've been in government for 25 years. I've never seen anything like this.
I've never have seen this in my 26-year career with the county of Fresno.
What was supposed to be an empty building used only for storage was home to an unauthorized lab testing facility, something no one had even conceived of.
So you might be wondering, why were they there really? Well, the legal answer that they gave was that they were there to test if their C19 kits actually worked. And I mean, like, have you tried getting tested with these kits? The ones that they put up your noses? What happens, and this is me just being naturally curious, what happens if they misplace a swab that they used and then accidentally packaged it off as a brand new swab? Now, I'm just getting worked up over here, but it's not impossible, right? They were working inside of a building that was supposed to be empty. Do you really think that they care about safety as much as you and I do? I mean, give me a break.
This is a biological house of horrors, as it's been described. And many of the investigators working the case said they have never seen anything like it. How do they go about this investigation, given the fact that it sounds like the Chinese company they're working with is not being all that forthcoming about what they were doing and why?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Marnie. Just as you said, this is a biological house of horrors. I worked WMDs at the CIA. This is not how you store them. All of these materials needed to be in, at the very lowest, a biosafety level facility of a 2 or perhaps a 3. This was nowhere near that. This was just a warehouse. And again, all that they saw initially that tipped them off, really the code enforcer here is the hero in this story, was kind of an errant hose. My guess is it's going to be very difficult to find the origins. A lot of times what happens in the Chinese counterintelligence cases, I worked at the Bureau, is that people come here, agents of China do come here as private citizens, if you will, establish private companies or get into private employment somewhere. And then it becomes very difficult to track their origins back to China. That's a case we had a lot of difficulty doing and proving that. And that's why a lot of times it's really difficult to try them under the Espionage Act for something like this.
I also have a few questions about this entire thing. To this day right now, we have no clue as to who owns this company. No name, nothing. Just that they were doing tests in a place that they weren't supposed to, and they're from China. Doesn't that sound fishy? Now, you also have to think that these test kits are out on the market right now. People are using them as we speak, and it's not just C19 kits. They're also producing pregnancy test kits as well. And so after knowing all of this, are you still willing to take a test kit for one of them? Man, my mind is just so mixed up right now with all these different thoughts. It's kind of like they want us to put on tinfoil hats, huh? Because this is the kind of talk that some people in government, probably one that's already retired, someone who charges a lot of money for speaking engagements, you remember him, right? Well, this is probably something that he would probably label as a conspiracy theory. Now, although there's one lawmaker, U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who did react to this news.
This is very disturbing. I met with a number of leaders here from county to city and others about this. What can be real concerning is what was going on in that lab. What was not being reported in that lab. The funding of that lab is, I know the FBI is involved now as well. One of the first things I did becoming speaker was to create a select committee on China. I want to make sure it was bipartisan. I think one of the biggest things that we have failed at through the years is we have not spoken with one voice. When you look at what's going on in our own soil, what's going on in our own background here is a lab that is studying, doing things that they did not have jurisdiction or policy or rights to. But if it wasn't for code enforcement or a fire, we would have never known about it.
And before I wrap things up, guys, kudos to that code enforcement officer for doing her job. She definitely deserves all the credit. And man, they don't give her a raise after this. I don't know how she's going to get one. But what are you guys' thoughts on this? Is the United States of America under attack? Or is it something that we shouldn't even worry about? All right, guys, I'm heading off. But before I do, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you guys for staying awesome. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next one.